Comadres. Welcome to another episode of Comadreando podcast. I'm your host, Marcy, and today we have an amazing episode featuring someone near and dear to my heart. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. Who are you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Bianca Quinones. I am Marcy's friend from many, many, many years ago. I was her roommate for, 3 years, almost 4 years, until I met my husband and I moved out. How long ago was that?
Oh, my God. I posted that picture from 2017, but you guys were together from before then. So it's like...
Yeah, no. We've been together 10 years. So 2013. Yeah. So that means we lived together. We lived together from 2010.
You moved in before Aidan turned 1, right?
Yeah, he was a baby. He was little. I think he was 1. Because he was definitely walking. I think so. Because he was definitely walking.
No, because I remember I took him to Chase. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. Okay, I remember now. So, Aidan turned 1. I was living in Jersey. Then the whole shebang with his dad happened. Then we split up, and I moved back to the city. And then when I moved to the city, I had a couple of roommates that were like, ugh. And then the room opened up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to ask Twin to move in because you were looking for a place to live at the time. So, it was an interesting experience.
Well, that's how we met, too. We met working at Chase together.
Yeah, so before I was a teacher, y'all, I used to work for the bank, which we have discussed on the show before. And, so in the bank, the reason why we became really close was when you got hired, they're like, oh my God, wait till you see who you hired. I'm like, oh. They're like, she looks exactly like you. And I'm like, doubt it, but sure, whatever. So then when I met you, I was like, we do look alike. So we became really good friends. Yeah, and then even though I'm way older than you are, we vibed on the same.
I just turned 36 on Friday.
40.
I know, you look amazing.
So we were vibing on a completely different level. It was very interesting, and what I loved the most about you is that you loved Aidan like he was your own, which was, and then you went through that whole process of me, getting him evaluated and, getting all the therapies here in the house, too. So, so what we're going to talk about, Comadres, today is creating your village and the importance of having, genuine friendships that support you in your journey as a parent to a child with special needs. So, and the reason why the topic came up is that around my birthday, I was reflecting on how different my experience would have been had I not had great friends like Bianca around supporting me in different ways. And still kind of, como te digo, you were single at the time, and I was single too, but it was more you kept me fun, if that makes any sense.
Because we were. Even though we connected, we were still at totally different places in our lives. I was single. I didn't have any kids. You were a single mom. You did have a son. But I also felt but you all, I kept you fun, but you also showed me that you can be a hardworking mom. You can have a child that has special needs, and you can still go to school. Because at one point you even went back to school. Mm-hmm. And you did it all. I always felt like you were Superwoman, because I was just working one job and I was exhausted. And I would help you from time to time whenever something came up. But you did so much, and I was just like, how is she doing all of it? And it's Friday. I think we need a glass of wine. And Aidan was always so good. He would just sit on the couch between us and just let us do our thing.
Oh my God.
There's many nights of that.
Yeah. And remember at that time, his dad was actually picking him up, and we would actually go party.
Yes. We would go up and down Dykeman. Oh my God. I'm so old. We would go. Yeah.
Aidan was
the Papacito. Is that still around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff that I didn't really get to do in my 20s, couldn't really get to really have fun like that. So it was a very interesting dynamic. And then like having to parent hungover was like not fun at all. People know, especially when you have a kid like with special needs, like you have to be on like 24/7. I forgot who it was that she just had 2 babies, and we used to work together. She's the actually Angie. She was a speech therapist that I had on the show, and she just had her second baby. And they went to a wedding together, her and her husband. And she came back the next day. She's like, "Oh God, I have to parent. Like, hungover is not fun at all." But it was crazy. It was a very interesting time, and the fact that you supported me and like as much as you could in different ways, even though you weren't a mom. I feel like you took ownership of a lot of things that you didn't really have to, but you decided like you wanted to. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess because essentially I moved in with you. It was your apartment. But it always felt like it was our home, you know, like it never felt like I was like sectioned to be just in my room. It was like, we were like a family, you know, we are family, you know, and I since I felt so comfortable and embraced by that, how could I not help my friend whenever she needed help, especially like if she needed to do something and I wasn't doing anything. And Aidan was always like, he was always easy, you know, like he never, I can speak in Spanish. I can speak Spanglish. Él no daba trabajo. Like, you know, I guess because he met me so young, you know, he felt comfortable with me. Like we never had, like I never would come to you and just say like, you know, I can't handle him right now. Like I always felt like he was comfortable with me. So that always made it easy also. Like,
remember cuando le cogió con meterse al cuarto tuyo, he used to like try to be in your room.
He would lay down. He wanted to cuddle. He wanted to cuddle. He's big now. Like, he was little before. I mean, even though he was always solid, like he was always a solid kid.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I think honestly it helped me because when I became a mom later on, you know, it kind of helped me, you know, have some patience already, like, you know, and you know my situation. You know, I'm not gonna get into too much detail with it, but like I also have like 2 stepsons, and
she's a bonus mom, y'all.
I'm a bonus mom, so you know that I'm also a girl mom, but you know having the exposure to a boy, you know, helped me with my bonus kids. You know, knowing that boys and girls are very different and how they behave. So I got a head start with Aidan and with you. But it was fun. It was so much fun.
It was so funny. I was looking at like, I feel like the gayest thing we ever did was like we took Aidan trick-or-treating and we went to take pictures at S5Ep2.
They probably thought we were lesbians. But it's like we felt like a family because I know there was times where like, you know, I don't know how like there was a lot of ups and downs, you know, for you. Yeah. Regardless, I think even though you knew that I was there were certain expectations you had of someone else that you didn't understand why they weren't happening. And they were just kind of like just in and out, you know, and I think you struggled, like you knew you had a village, but there was, you know, a part of you that was like, but he also has a dad, you know, like why are you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Yeah. So,
and I feel like that I also knew how to. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and then I knew how to step back too. Like whenever like you needed your time or you needed your space, like because everybody goes through those situations. Like you just come knock on my door.
No, I was gonna say that also. That I feel like that also. Like when you met your husband, that was like something that we valued as friends. We were like, wow, he's such a great dad, you know, and he actually wants to be involved in his children's lives and like proactively goes about it, you know, even though at that time he was having, you know, his own stuff with that situation. But that was one thing that stood out to us and we were like, we like this. This is good.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
But
I got lucky.
Yeah. Lucky too, coño.
A lot of frogs. A lot of frogs.
Girl.
You know.
The thing is like, but like, I feel, como te digo, just like going through all of that just makes you value the person that you're with more, you know?
Yes.
Because when you meet that person that is the right one, and then you see that they're like an amazing dad. Plus, on top of that, they're like great with your own kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that all contributes to something. Like, I hope that his dad has grown up, you know, and has become a better father to the children that he has now, which is 3
children. I'm like, 3. We need a separate offline conversation. I need an update. 3, so 4 with Aidan.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I hope he's great with his other children. You know, I hope he's grown as a person.
Yeah. Hopefully.
That's all I can like really say. I don't really have anything else to say about that. But no, like, your husband is an amazing person, and I feel like when you guys met, it was like very like organic. Also, like, he lived with us for a little bit too, and
he did.
He was like bonus Theo. He's like, "What up, Aidan? How you doing?" Aidan's like loving Uncle Carlos.
He did. He did live with us for a few months before we found our own place. And that also was, like you said, was very organic. I mean, he was a dad already himself. So I think Aidan is very good at reading people and reading vibes. And he definitely clicked with Carlos right away. And then, you know, I think it was also Carlos's first experience, meeting a child on the spectrum. And he was very, I think pleasant. He was fascinated with it. And then I think, you know, and I would always just speak so highly of you. I'm like, she changed her whole career for her son, essentially. You know, I mean, I think you always aspired to do more, but I think and I've always said this to you, what's made you also an amazing mom, like, you went out and you found, you know, you wanted the right answers. You wanted to learn. You wanted to make sure that you were providing, you know, I remember there was like different therapists would come to me, Aidan, and if something didn't click, like, you would call, like, you always advocated for him. You always spoke up for him. And I know that might be weird for some people to hear, but you know, because you know my situation, that there are parents that are just not like that, you know, like, they don't speak up. They don't self-advocate. They don't learn. They don't have the patience. And I've always admired what you did, you know, for him, essentially, because, you know, it was admirable. I admired you so much. I still admire you for it, you know?
No, keep going.
No, yeah, but I feel like we're jumping around. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Just, like, it's the comadres are used to it. This is like a regular conversation for us. Like.
It's funny because me and Carlos just came back from DR for our anniversary, and you know, one of the highlights of, I think, our relationship, because we were in a relationship was like our friend, like, you know, you took me to DR essentially, and, you know, introduced me to your whole family. And the 2 trips that I took, I learned so much. And, you know, the whole time we were there, I was, you know, telling Carlos about everything, about the time we went to the Hard Rock, and Aidan like ran away.
Oh my God.
And the Hard Rock was huge. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah. And I was like showing him. And then, because we took an excursion and we went to Barcelona, and I'm like, I stood there with Marcy and her family.
My God, that's cool.
But I was like, and we took Aidan with us because, you know, we weren't not going to not have fun because she was a mom, you know, and we made the best of it. The whole family was there. We all took turns. And he was good, you know.
The most intense thing was, I told the story. This was like one of the first episodes that I did on the show. You remember?
I think I heard it. I was laughing.
Our experience at the church over there in La Iglesia de las Américas. Girl, yes. I was like, wow.
Yes. And remember they made, was it? I went back to DR again with my dad, and I went to that, and they didn't let me in because I can't remember if it was with you or with my dad, because I had short tongue.
No, tú entrate. You went to go see La Virgen. You had a long dress on that day. Because we all, when we went to the church, we made sure to wear like skirts and like cover up, like a swim cover up. That's what we wore. Yeah. Well, probably when you went with your dad.
Probably because I went to the one in the Capital with him, and I felt like I didn't think they were going to be as strict there. Like, obviously when we went to Higüey, it was like, you know. And then I remember I was just like, oh, okay, sorry. I wrapped the thing around. I'm like, to cover my legs.
It's just that they're so, like, I feel like they're so hypocritical with some things, like, like, oh, don't wear shirts at church, but like, you know what the priests are doing in the church.
Yeah, so that was it was true.
No, but yeah, Yeah, go ahead.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay. No, I was gonna say that like it just makes it. I feel like having the right type of friendships and people that support you in that way, like makes or breaks your experience as a parent of a child with special needs. Because I feel like had I not had you there, like even though I was going through like my bout of depression at the time, and like in retrospect, I like recognize that because like I know the signs now, and I've done all the work. Yeah, it just makes or breaks your experience as a parent of a child with special needs. Like I know there's some moms that don't have support, and their mental health is like really lacking in that department because they don't know who they can talk to or who they can vent to or anything like that, and it's hard, and it like I feel like as adults it's harder to make friends, if that makes any sense, and you have to be proactive about it. Like you have to go and seek out people, and like you never know, like people are all going through the different experiences. You don't know what in what sense you guys can connect, like me and you really, like besides being both like Dominican and Latina, like we didn't have that much things in common, but like we found like common ground, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I think you just naturally gravitate towards people when you have like an unspoken connection to them. And I think that definitely happened with us. And it just felt like family from the moment I moved in to the moment I moved out, I moved out on the best of terms. It was just, I was in a new relationship and I was ready to, explore being in a relationship and living one-on-one with my boyfriend at the time. And Aidan was also big already. Like he needed his space. He needed his, his own bed, or he had his own bed,
but he was being mad wild, like going into your room all the time at that point and taking not taking things. He was just like going in there to play, like violating the room. I'm like, Papi, you can't do that.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that. It's just like, and then you needed your space too. Like I think I lived with you for like almost 4 years, I think. So it was a long time, and in the first 3 years, we were able to travel together, live together, party together, cry together, learn together, grow together. Like we did it all, and I'm grateful for that experience for Aidan also, because in a way he kind of prepared me for motherhood, living with him, and also, obviously he's not very, at the time he wasn't very vocal, he spoke with his actions, or what, just how he would come to you. You would kind of know what he wanted. And it was good for me because I guess I discovered a part of myself that I didn't know that I had. And he brought that out in me essentially because I had never lived with a child, let alone a child on the spectrum. So I hold those memories dear to my heart.
No, and like you're naturally a nurturing person. Like I don't feel like maybe you recognize that about yourself before you were interacting with a kid on a daily basis, but like you're naturally nurturing. That's just the person you are. Like when you love people, you like look out for them and like try to take care of them and are there for them. Which is I feel like that's something that, because of the relationship that we had together, plus with Aidan, it was like highlighted more in yourself. And you, like, I feel like once you knew that your husband had children, you felt like you were capable of handling that situation.
Yeah.
At least the kid part.
Yeah, the kid part. Yeah. No, definitely. It didn't, I mean, when, you meet a guy and, they say, oh, he has a kid, it wasn't necessarily a red flag. It's just, what comes with it sometimes. But, when you meet your person, and he was my person. So it was okay that he came with some baggage.
I mean, the thing, I don't know, like it all, I don't say no, I wouldn't date a guy with kids ever. Like I would never say that. But like I have to see what type of father you are. If you're not a great dad, that's a red flag for me. Like I would never. If I would have met his dad, like let's say Aidan wasn't his kid, right? And I would have met his dad and he had no relationship with his actual like firstborn child, You think I would have gotten in a relationship with that man?
No.
Never.
No.
And I don't care what you say, because the thing is, like, people are always gonna like make themselves out to be the victim and like, you know, play it off like, oh, this person's crazy. Like, okay, there's people that are gonna say things, but you have to actually look at the person's actions and like what they're actually doing, whether or not that, like, you know, to cross reference what they're saying. Because I feel like a lot of people say a lot of things, but you have to have that discernment of actually paying attention to what that person is doing and seeing who they are as a person.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that's why it was easy for me, because one of the first things my now husband first said to me was, I have 2 kids and they always are going to be, you know, at that point first, you know, now we have a daughter of our own. But that was one of the first things he said to me. And I respected that. Like, he never hid his children. He never, you know, made it seem like it was something that it wasn't. He was very honest from the beginning with that. And, you know, I respected it. Because, you know, in hindsight now, I know, I mean, I've seen my friends deal with, you know, baby daddy issues or men that aren't, or fathers that are not present. So to literally one of the first things this guy just said to me was, I'm a dad first, you know, it was attractive in a way, because it was like, okay, well, at least I know he's responsible. Like, you know,
it's true.
So, that was, and here we are. 10 years later. 10 years later.
With a house and all the kids.
A house and and a dog.
And living in the and living in the burbs, you know, living the dream.
Yeah.
But
it's fun.
I was gonna ask, so one of my questions that I wrote down, of course, is what did you do once you like found out that Aidan was autistic, and like to inform yourself as a friend of a person with autism? Did you do like research or anything like that, or like try to inform yourself a little bit more? Because I think, was Aidan the first kid that you met with autism, or a person rather with autism that you met?
Yeah. Because, you know, when we were growing up, like, at least, I mean, I went to like a small Catholic school and like elementary school and a high school, and I don't remember ever seeing, you know, kids on the spectrum. You know, back then they used words that I won't ever, you know, repeat now. And, you know, it just, I wasn't exposed to it. I remember, oh, Jesus, my memory's gone. I remember as I got older, you know, hearing autism, you know, and I remember like, you know, why are we all of a sudden hearing like all these kids that have autism now? Like, what is going on? But I had never been exposed to a child that had autism. And you know, one of the things that I loved about you, like you never were ashamed about it. Like, this is my son, he's autistic. And like, it was never something that you hid. I don't know if some parents struggle, you know, with that. They think that it's shameful, you know. You know, a kid has, regardless of if he's on the spectrum or not, like, they have to be loved and cared for, you know. So for me, you were my teacher in a sense, and then I just, you know, and it was just, I'm an open-minded person, you know, and like you say, like I'm naturally, you know, giving, and I was, in a way, I was curious to see, I guess, essentially what the difference was, because I had nieces and nephews. Yeah. So I have been around kids. They weren't on the spectrum, but I can't tell you that I essentially did anything, but I kind of just always followed your lead, you know, because this was the very beginning, you know, when I lived with you. This was when Aidan was getting tutors, and I'm not tutors, when therapists were coming to visit. Like, this was the very, very beginning. I remember when you put him finally in school, like, that was hard for you. Like, you're like, who am I gonna trust? You know, I remember when you first got a babysitter, because you also wanted him to be exposed to different children, and you know, you would really basically ask for a background check for these people, because you know, this was your baby. And you know, and I remember like you would say things like, you know, he needs to be around other kids. Like, I know that you're willing to like pick him up or watch him for me, but I want him to be around, you know, other kids like him, essentially. So I just followed your lead, because I felt like essentially you were kind of in the beginning stages yourself of figuring out which way to go with Aidan, because we're talking about him being young,
like 1.5, like
yeah,
2, like maybe 2, like not even 2 probably.
yeah.
I think you moved in. Did you move in like a December or was November? Or was it like shortly after his second birthday? I feel like, was it after your birthday?
Because I have a picture. No, because I have a picture of him in his carriage, and I think, or there's a picture of him, and there's a cupcake in it, and there's a number 2 in it.
Ah, okay, yeah. So you moved in like shortly after we moved in. So I want to say that whole situation with like the roommates and stuff. Okay, wait. So wait, I'm gonna give the comadres a scoop. So first, after Aidan's dad left, my best friend's brother moved in with us, and very clean person. Like this dude used to have the house spotless. However, like there was some controversial stuff. Something happened and he ended up moving out. Then after that, my brother's friend moved in, and he was like bringing women over all the time. And it was just like, it's like, you're 20. Like, I get it. I understand. But like, I didn't want certain things around my kid. Like, I didn't want him. I wasn't exposing him to that. So I was definitely not going to have him around like people like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I had to ask them to leave. And then after that, I think that was like December. Yeah. And then after that, I asked, like you had just like gotten out of a situation where you needed to find somewhere to stay. And I was like, hey, I have an open room. Come move in with us. But yeah, no, it was like definitely like, I want to say, Aidan was like not even 2.
He was probably I think he was turning, or had just turned 2, or he was turning 2, but he was young. Mm-hmm. It was still so early that his dad was like in and out, and sometimes taking him, sometimes not. Like, this is how early on.
The only reason why he was taking him, because he was dating this older Puerto Rican lady, and she had 2 children. Oh, yeah. And the dad wasn't present, remember? The dad wasn't present, and she didn't want him to be like that with his own son. So she would like push him to pick him up. Mm-hmm. And she would actually stay with Aidan when he wasn't around. Like, he would work on Saturday morning, and she would stay with him like until he arrived, which was like 4 or like 5 o'clock. Which she didn't have to do that. And like, esa señora que Dios la bendiga, because like, she really didn't have to. Like, that wasn't her kid. That wasn't nobody. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even married. So ella no tenía obligación, but she wanted to do it out of the goodness of her heart. And even when, me and him were having issues, she would like try to intercede in a way and like keep the lines of communication open. So that's how you stepmother. Like, you don't stepmother being like a bitch to the mom of his first child. Like, if they don't give you a reason, if they don't give you a reason to do that, like, you don't fucking do that. Like, don't be a bitter hoe. Like, stop. No.
I know a few bitter hoes.
Girl, like, I'm just like, girl, like, that's it. That man is not your man. Like, suelta esa vaina en banda.
Yeah. Yeah, but not everybody thinks like that. But yeah, no, going back, this was really, 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 really early on, where you were just beginning, I guess, in a way, to find out all the resources. I remember we would talk about those things. Like, I want to make sure that he has all the services that he needs. Because you also needed help, because essentially, like, yes, I was there for emotional support, your mom, your family, they're all there for you, but you also needed to make sure that he was getting the best possible services and outcome and care that he could have, because at the end of the day, there's only, we're moms, and our responsibility is to love and care for them and make sure they're okay. But there's also certain things that we just, that a professional would need to come in and do, because you also had a lot of pressure, because essentially, like, you were doing this all on your own.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of pressure for you. So, I think you handled it the best way you could have, and I was just basically there for emotional support.
Oh man, you went through a lot, and I want to apologize, because like, I was like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at one point. I think So I was on birth control, y'all, when I was when Bianca first moved in, and then I got off birth control, or like I switched birth control. I was like a whole different person. I was like losing my shit. And it was like I had the IUD in, and then it was like I guess expiring because like Aidan was like towards the end, like when you were moving out, like I was already supposed to take it out, and I guess I don't know what happened, but the hormones are going crazy, and I was like not well. And she had to deal with all of that, and she was still gracious and being a good friend and understanding because oh my god, oh my goodness, it was crazy. No, but seriously, like that's how come I don't even take birth control now. Like I'm like, si pasa pasa, si no pasa no pasa. Like I'm not.
You're right.
Es que yo estoy haciendo.
Yeah. I wasn't on a birth control. I was on birth control for a while right after I had my daughter. And then I was on it for like a good 3 years. And then I started the pill again. And then I just didn't like the way the pill was making me feel. So then, then I went and according as per my OBGYN, then I was doing a pull and pray. That's exactly how she describes it. It was pull and pray. I was like, yeah, I guess. It was okay. And then this woman is probably like in her 70s. So when she told me that, I was just like, I was taken back. I was like, she said, "Oh, you're doing pull and pray," and I'm like, yeah. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll be more responsible. And now I have the IUD, but so far so good. I never had the IUD before, never. Okay, and it's my first time, and so far so good. Yeah, no complaints. Yeah,
the person I'm seeing with, we're not really. I feel like it's long distance, even though we live in the same state. We don't get to see each other that often because I'm busy and he's busy. But when we do get together, it's like it's fun. Like we have a good time together. But yeah, no, we like we both have kids. We're good. Like,
oh, you're dating somebody with kids? What?
Yeah, no, he has 3. He has 3 kids.
Listen, sometimes you gotta be the Brady Bunch. It's okay. Like,
his oldest doesn't live with him, and the 2 younger ones obviously don't live with him either. They live with their mother. They actually live in another state, but they do have a very healthy relationship. Like they purposely try to do things together.
That's good. That's
to still involve him. Like she got married and she invited him to her wedding, and which is really cool. Like not everybody has that experience after they separate from somebody. And they even like purposely like do events, and like for example the other weekend they went pumpkin picking with the new husband, him, and then his children's mother and the children, obviously. But it's a very interesting dichotomy. And then I remember at first when they first because me and him have been friends for a while. When they first separated, they were having issues with like about visitation and all this other stuff. Like it just gets messy sometimes when you
in the beginning it's messy. Yeah.
And then like I guess you eventually learn how to grow with each other and heal that whatever it was that was going wrong. Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
So yeah. But anyway, comadres, I wanted to also catch up. Like we haven't, like the last episode was back in, was it July 20?
Yeah.
With Penny? Yeah, we did the last episode in July, and that was fun. And like so much stuff has happened since then.
What's going on with you?
Well, you celebrated my 40. Birthday 40. It was fun. I had a good time. It was like just exactly what the doctor ordered. I wanted like something intimate with my friends that I love. And it was just that. And I don't know, like I felt this year I wanted to like love on the people that love me. So like I planned something, and I gave everybody like these little gifts, which is like these little succulent plants. So everybody got to take one home. And then besides that, like I just been like acclimating to this new job, which was it's not harder, it's about the same amount of work. It's just more structured. So I don't feel like I'm guessing so much. Like I know exactly what I have to do, and I do it, obviously. And obviously the compensation is bomb. And then also like the culture there at that school is very different from what I've been used to.
So you're at a different school?
Yeah, I'm at charter now.
Okay. Oh yeah, okay. I've heard good things about charter school.
Even though I was like anti-charter. But yeah. No, because like, there are some like charters that are like really, they treat their staff poorly, and like you're like basically like I don't know, like they just feel like you owe them, so like they treat you probably worse than the DOE. But no, this charter that I'm at is like really good, and they're culturally conscious. I've been able to do so much with my students that I don't know, I just feel like I have a love for teaching again. Not that I ever lost it. I always loved teaching. It's just I feel like the biggest turnoff of being an employee somewhere is the people that are leading you. So if the people that are leading you are not great, I feel like that fucks up the experience for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, I just recently got a new job, and you know, my experience at my previous job wasn't terrible, but you know, I feel like it was something I needed to change. And sometimes the leadership, when it's not, you know, the greatest. Yeah, at the end of the day, especially for me, like I live in Connecticut, but I still commute to New York. So I have very long days. My commute is 4 hours, essentially 2 hours one way, 2 hours coming back. Then I gotta work 7 to 8 hours.
Wait, do you take the train or do you drive?
I take the train in because I take it into Grand Central because I work in Midtown. So you know, it's just easier. So then on top of that, you don't want to go to a place where you go and you're like miserable. Because you're spending more time with these people than your own family sometimes.
Oh my God.
So, you know, I've been at this new job since April, and I really like it. The leadership is a lot different. It's just a different culture. And
is it still banking or something else?
It's still banking, but it's a different division.
Yeah, so we used to work retail banking before, y'all. That was like working in like souped up McDonald's. Not even McDonald's. It was like a souped up car dealership where you're selling checking accounts. No, it was hard.
Yeah, no,
bank was hard.
I left retail banking. I think maybe not soon after I moved out. Because I was no, because Penelope wasn't born until 2015. So yeah, no, I was probably in retail banking for another 4 years. Okay. And then I went into private banking in 2018.
Okay.
And in private banking, excuse me, ever since. So I don't deal with the McDonald's, the McDonald's version of things.
Retail banking is crazy. The stress. No, and then like your stress was different. Like yours was like, because you used to work behind the behind the window, like you were working in operations and as a teller when you first started at the bank. But it was just a lot. It was a lot of pressure and like all this stuff and coming in Saturdays. It was so ghetto. I was like, oh,
what? No, I haven't worked Saturday in like 8 years.
No, not only that, but like because you would get out early, but then like there was some Saturdays that they would make you come and like set up a whole new system, and like you'd be there hasta la quimbamba la noche. No, what? No. I know. Once I left teaching, like once I went into teaching, I was like, I'm only working Saturdays if I'm getting paid like extra. Like now that I'm being demanded to show up, like compensate me.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And that was another thing too. Like if family is important. Like eventually, not everybody is single and doesn't have kids. A lot of people, there's a lot of working moms now, right? So we also need to give them the opportunity to be able to work, and if they need to step away to pick up their child or leave early for an event, like we need to have a work-life balance. And I feel like I have that.
I love that for you.
Job. Yeah, like I work 2 days from home, but also like if I need something, like I know I could text my boss and say, hey, I need to like work from home today. Like it's not like it's a better work-life balance for me. And
I love that for you. Yay.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm good. And
I love that.
I'm used to the commute already. I've been up here since right before COVID. So since 2019, I've been in it. Yeah.
Just
It's a part.
suburb little lady.
I only go into New York for work, and then I'm like, go into New York on the weekend. Like, I don't want. That's why you need to just come up, because it's been too long since we've seen each other in person.
I know. I have to like. First of all, I'm gonna now that I can wing it. I can get a little car and have something. But like the reason, remember the first time I had the car, like I had to give it up because like parking was nightmarish around here. Parking was insane. Like even now, the person I'm dating, when he comes over, like we have to like pre-plan the time he's gonna come, and like I have to figure out like parking, and like we have to look for parking together, and it's so hard.
That's one of the reasons why we moved. Like, oh, you live in Connecticut, that's so far. And I'm like, no lie. When I lived in New York, I've always worked in Midtown, where I was working in Midtown at the time. I lived on the last stop on the D train. It would take me an hour to an hour and a half to get from Midtown to the Bronx.
Plus dealing with all the craziness on the train.
Yeah. And then my husband worked in like Westchester, and yes, 20 minutes from the Bronx. But he would spend 2 hours looking for parking. So it was like when we calculated, the time. Yes, it's obviously we spend more money on gas in the Metro North, but time wise, it's almost practically the same thing.
Yeah.
If but the difference is that I get to drive right into my driveway. I don't have to worry about
that
looking for parking.
And when you're ready to like unwind, you can sit on your porch and fucking have a glass of wine and chill and talk shit with your husband. Like it's a very different life. Like living in the suburbs is 100% different than living here in the city. Like when we first started recording, I don't know if you heard, but like all the crackheads were out there like talking and like going crazy. I'm like, this is life in New York City.
Yeah. But you always had the option to go to your mom's.
Yeah.
Do you still do it? That was always.
I do. Yeah, no, it's just like it depends on my schedule. Like if I have a lot of things to do, I decided to stay here in the city. So this is one of those weekends, and yeah, I'm actually done decluttering with the consultant. Like we finished.
I saw your videos. Good. I'm so happy for you, because I'm kind of on that mode as well. I know we moved from a 1-bedroom to a house, and I don't know how much I can't believe how much crap I've accumulated in 5 years. Like, I look at girls and I'm like, what?
Yo, you know what it is? I feel like it's an immigrant thing. Like, we're children of immigrants. Our parents didn't grow up with much, so like we just like naturally accumulate shit, and then we have like this guilt thing about like throwing things away because maybe you'll need it one day, and then you have to buy it again. And like, you know what? Like, it is what it is. If I need it again one day, fine. Okay. But like, it's not that serious. Like,
no, I've been throwing stuff away.
Yo, do you know the amount of mugs that I got rid of? Like mugs that students gave me, families gave me, all mismatched, obviously, because like it's like design mugs.
I love mugs.
I know, Manita, but I don't need like 25 of them. I got rid of them and I have like 6.
Okay, see, I can't tell Carlos to listen to this podcast because he's gonna.
Okay, but the thing is, okay, so you have to, you're gonna look at your mugs and you're gonna say, have I used it in the last year?
I use them all the time.
All of them?
No, I don't have 20. I don't have 25. I have like 15.
Okay, like 15. So you're gonna look at your 15 and you're gonna say, have I used it in the last year?
Yes. Well, so they're seasonal
every single one.
They're seasonal ones. So like right now, I'm using my fall ones, and I'm using my Halloween ones.
Okay, so okay. I'm using those. That's understandable. That's understandable. Like I got rid of a whole bunch of them, and then I left one Christmas one, and I was gonna get rid of it. And then the person that I'm working with, my consultant Osa, she was like, "Marcy, you have literally no Christmas things in your house. Keep the mug." She's like, "Keep the mug. You like Christmas." I'm like, "Fine, I'll keep the fucking mug." I was like, "If I don't use it this Christmas, I'm getting rid of it."
But good, at least you're in the mode where you want to get rid of stuff on your own. I mean, I try to do that. You know what? I did do that a lot with clothes. There was things that I was holding on to
to like, oh, maybe I'll lose, 10 pounds and fit into it again. No, Bianca, you haven't lost 10 pounds, so give it away. Like, so
I know. That's definitely the rule for me. Like, if I didn't use it this year, last year, or whatever, I'm not gonna keep it because like it doesn't bring me enough joy that I decided to wear it. Yeah. Within a year, then no, I'm not keeping it.
Yeah, I did have that mindset with clothes a lot this year. I got rid of a lot of clothes because I was like, I haven't worn it. I'm holding on to it for either sentimental value or maybe I'll fit into it again one day. No, when I get there and I'll just buy. I'll buy
a mommy thing. Like, mommy has so much clothes. Like, yeah. She like every time she's in my apartment, she's like, "Wow, I'm so proud of you." I'm like, I can help you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's another one. Like, she's gotten rid of more stuff. Remember the basement used to have a lot of stuff? Like, we renovated the basement, so the basement's like basically empty now. But like now the rest of the house, we have to like help her this or Gina and like get rid of stuff. But the thing is, like,
empty nest completely.
Yeah, grandma's living in DR for now. Because grandma, remember, she got out of the rehab center for after she had the leg amputated. So now she's in DR for a little bit. We have her being taken care of by like live at home, not nannies. What do you call it for old people? Like caretakers,
like a home attendant.
So they sleep. She has one that sleeps over, and then one that's there during the day, like a certain days of the week, and they're helping her out. So like, she wanted to be home. Like, I understand her completely. It's very different being in your own house and like you're the dueña than like being in somebody else's house and like having to deal with like that part of, I guess it's like reverse parenting in a way because like my mom is her daughter, but then like now it's like the roles have switched because mom has to like tell her what to do, and like grandma's the mom rather. But I don't know what that's gonna be like when we're older, but I hope it's not terrible.
Yeah, I see my mom going through it now a little bit with my grandmother, and the roles definitely do get reversed. As the moms get older, yeah, it's tough. But yeah, no, I it's funny you say that because I thought about that also, but I think I have a long ways to go. with my mom.
Your mom is so young,
and you do
like
too.
Spiritually, so. Your mom is like not a teenager, but she's like our age. Like, she's very like with it, and like even though she's a little old school, like in certain things, but like I feel like your mom is like more youthful.
She is,
even though age wise she might be like not up there, but she's like older than us, obviously. Yeah. But like I feel like she's more moderna, like una persona. She's like more open minded than a lot of the moms that I've, met before.
She is. She definitely is. She's more open to conversations and different. I mean, she tells me all the time, like with all the, she sees that the stuff that I go through with the kids, and even like just the way the school system, how the way they teach now, and everything's on the Chromebook, and she's just.
Wait, the kids in Connecticut are still like using technology to learn?
They use Chromebooks
all day.
Yeah, that's what they use. They use Chromebooks.
We have them, but we're like literally like teaching like pencil and papers in our school.
Penelope is more. She's in 3rd grade, so they still they do the whiteboard, and they have the sheets and stuff. So she is more. But my older ones, they don't know what a textbook is. Like,
really?
Like even my brother, like Eric, comes over sometimes and he'll look at what tell the boy like, show me your homework, and he's just like, everything's on the Chromebook. Everything is on the Chromebook, and I'm just like so over it because
I guess in one sense, like it's good because the kids don't they don't have the excuse like, oh, I forgot my homework at home. Like, okay, it's on your Chromebook, it's in your Google account, like you have access to it. But then again, like the kids are losing esa destreza, what's it called, like that ability of being able to like research things and like look things up like manually or like figure things out. Monologue.
Like, do you know what an encyclopedia is? Yeah, like
nothing. All they know is Google.
Like, huh? I'm like, an encyclopedia. No, all they know is Google. All they know is Google. I'm like, was it a Britannica that we had? Like, they don't know.
Like 50-something books, like.
Yeah, no. They go with the little Chromebook.
Every letter had 2 books, right?
That what?
every letter had 2 books. Like, so like there was like A, and then there was B and B, and like, my friend's mom, like, they had money. I don't know how she paid for it, because like I don't remember her mom having like a legit, like, not, she had a legit job, obviously. She worked in a factory, but she was a factory worker, and she was able to afford like the Encyclopedia Britannica. My mom wasn't able to afford it. So when I had to do research, I used to have to go next door and be like, hey, can I borrow letter, whatever, until my research.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. No, they put a little Chromebook in their book bag and they go to school, and I'm just like,
and then I was fucked. Remember when they used to ask for like multiple sources, so you had to go to a library and take shit out? Oh my god!
What I will tell you, because this happens, because everything's online, the teachers are good at catching them if they're like straight copying and pasting, because they've been called out on that before. And I tell them all the time, I'm like, I understand you're going back and forth and using Google and Wikipedia, but you need to make those your own words. Like, you can't just copy and paste the things that you find. So the teachers are good at calling them out on like, this doesn't sound like you.
And like AI, like, there's a lot of people that I know that are using like AI for like so much different shit, and I think even the kids are using it for like writing essays and like dissertations and like their papers for grad school. I'm like, dude, like, how is that helping you?
Well, ask me what Aidan wants to be, like what he wants to be when he grows up. My Aidan, because my middle bonus, his name is Aidan too. Aww. Ask me what he wants to be when he grows up.
And what? What does he want to be?
A coder.
Well, that's a great. You know how much money this dude is gonna make?
Literally, there was like.
He don't even have to go to college. I mean, I'm not gonna tell him that, but he doesn't even have to.
No, I know. He had like the career day thing, and I was like, Aidan, so what do you want me to be? I'm like, I got put on to be a veterinarian costume because she wants to be a veterinarian. He said, a coder. I'm like, a coder? He said, yeah, future coder. So I went on Amazon and I found a t-shirt that said future coder because that's what he wants to be.
And the good thing about that is like it's a lot of binary, and like what he really needs to understand is like, remember like in high school we learned about if then statements and stuff like that, like if this happened then this happens, like very like cause and effect. Like if he understands that, then he's gonna be great.
Yeah. And then Carlos likes it too, but he's also into more like designing, like web designing, like building websites and stuff like that.
That's dope.
Learning in his school. Yeah, they're good with stuff.
I love that. I love that they're like into tech. Like they're gonna make money. Because that's always gonna be around. Like I don't think AI is gonna be able to take over like creating a website like that. Like no. Like yeah, they can probably get there, right? But then AI is not gonna have the same input that a person is gonna have. Honestly,
yeah, we still need human beings to work. Like we still need that. But yeah, they're good in that aspect, because I'm just not sometimes they come and they tell me about these projects that they're working on. I'm just like, good. Like he's like, oh, is this just so hard, right? And I'm like, yeah, it is. Like
yeah, very hard.
Yeah, what are you talking about? As long as you're happy, that's all I care about. Like, and Penelope is going to be a pop star / veterinarian / gymnast. We're still trying to figure out.
I can see that for her. I can totally see that. She's like, oh, all right, comadre. So if you guys ever get to meet Penelope, she's like the sassiest, most like smart, just genuine, like smiley little girl I've ever met in my life. I love her so much. Like,
yeah, she's so good. I
have pictures of her. I got like reminders of pictures of her when like she was like when you brought her here after you had given birth. She's like,
she's your baby.
So little, with the little face.
She's 8 now.
Girl, she's grown. She's grown. I can't.
They're all big. They're all big. Aidan's 12. Carlos is 15, and she's 8.
This dude is 14. I'm about to be 15 in November. God, exactly.
What?
Yes.
See, that makes me like, even like it's different. Like obviously your own kids are your kids, but like with Aidan, like I remember like changing his diaper.
Yeah.
Like what? And he's so tall now.
Girl, like we were getting ready for school the other day. What was it on Friday? Friday. And he's there brushing his teeth, and I'm like, well, coaching him because I don't do it for him anymore. So I'm like, okay, don't forget to brush the back, whatever. And as he's brushing his teeth, he's like, yeah, it's getting cold. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, what season is it? I'm like, it's not fall yet, actually. It's gonna be fall October 21st next week. He's like, oh yeah. Like we had like a conversation, like legit conversation, like an adult would have with another adult, which was like, I was like, wow, like how far we've come from like barely responding to your questions that you had to like get on his level and like get like eye contact before he actually like acknowledged you to now. It's crazy. Like it's been a really long journey.
Yeah. When I see the videos and the pictures you post of him, and I have so many pictures of him when he was a baby, just to see how and it's beautiful, and it's all credit to you, girl. You did a great job. Still are.
Thank you, babe.
One of the best experiences of my life was living with you guys. I learned a lot.
I love you, Monica. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
So, comadres, we're going to leave the show here where it is. If you have any questions for us, or if you need any tips about how to be a better friend or how to show up for your mom friend or dad friend that has a child with on the spectrum, let us know. Send us a Comadre-Gram via email at Marcy@Comadreando.com or slide up into my DMs. Twin, if you want to drop your handles, you can. If you don't, that's cool too.
I'm not like an influencer or anything. I'm in the behind the sidelines. Your family knows who I am.
Oh yeah, so if you have any questions for Bianca, let us know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Please remember to visit our website, which is www.comadreandopod.com, to sign up to our latest blog posts, check out new merch, and find out about new happenings and events for the show. Thank you for spending time with your comadres. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.